Hi girls, how are you? I'm recording this for you guys. I did something. I recorded for Yisrael Meir, and I recorded for Elio and Yudit Tzvi and Lechan, and now I want to record something for you. And then Rafi, I want you to figure out what I should record for you. But in any case, this is that book I was reading to you guys, Ellen Tebbits. Oops, and here is the front cover. Okay. It's called Ellen Tebbits, and you can see that's for tirtza1. That's like a picture from the dancing class. Remember, so you can see here was that's where her funny underwear is, and here's that boy who was dancing next to her and making fun of her and blowing bubbles and stuff. Any rate, so I'm gonna keep reading for you guys. And let's just see. Here's a picture. I'll show you some quick pictures from the stuff that I read to you. Let's see if there's some pictures here. This is where the girl where she was trying to pull that bead out of the ground. Remember? In the rain. Okay, that's that picture. And then here's the picture where that boy had the jumping beans in the middle of class and he kept looking at them. And then here's the picture where the girls were together, clamping out the erasers and making all the chalk dust and stuff. Okay, so we're going to read from the next chapter of Ellen Tebbits. Again, here's the cover, and this chapter is called Ellen Rides Again. Now remember, I don't know. I can only go for 10 minutes. That's the maximum I can go. So if it stops, I'll record some more for the next day. Okay, guys? The arrival of spring meant different things to different people. To Mrs. Tebbits, it meant spring cleaning. To Mrs. Allen, that was Austy's mother, it meant planting seeds and setting out new flowers. To Ellen and Austin, spring meant something much more important. It meant no more winter underwear. The two girls were walking home from the library one spring afternoon. They felt light and carefree in their summer underwear. It was a wonderful feeling. It made them want to do something exciting. At the library, Austin had been lucky enough to find 2 horse books. "I wish I could ride a horse sometimes," she said. "Haven't you ever ridden a horse?" asked Ellen. "No, have you?" Austin sounded impressed. "Oh, yes," said Ellen, "several times." It was true, she had read several times. If she had ridden twice, she could have said a couple of times. 3 was several times, so she had told the truth. "Where? What was it like? Tell me about it," begged Austin. "Oh, different places." That was also true. She had ridden at the beach. Her father had rented a horse for an hour and had let Ellen ride behind him with her arms around his waist. The horse's back had been slippery, and she had bounced harder than was comfortable. But she had managed to hang on. And she had ridden at Uncle Fred's farm. Uncle Fred had lifted her up onto the back of his old plow horse, Lady, and led her twice around the barnyard. Lady didn't bounce her at all. And then there was another time when her father had paid a dime so she could ride a pony around in a circle inside a fence. It had been very exciting. Here's a picture of it. It had been very exciting. The pony seemed tired, but Ellen had pretended that it was galloping madly. Yes, it all added up to several times. "Why haven't you told me you could ride?" Austin demanded. "What kind of saddle do you use?" Austin knew about all different kinds of saddles because she had read so many horse books. "Oh, any kind," said Ellen, who did not know one saddle from another. "Once I rode bareback. That was true because Lady had no saddle." "Golly," said Austin, "bareback." Ellen was beginning to feel uncomfortable because she had not meant to mislead Austin. She did not really know how it all started. "Oh, Ellen, you have all the luck. Imagine being able to ride bareback. And even horseback and even bareback too." "Oh, it's nothing," said Ellen, wishing Austin would forget the whole thing. But the next day at school, Austin did not forget about Ellen's horseback riding. She had told Linda and Amelia about it. They told Barbara and George. Barbara and George told other boys and girls. Each time the story was told, it grew. Even Otis was impressed, and he was a difficult boy to impress. When the girls started home after school, he was waiting at the edge of the school grounds. He had a piece of chalk and was busy changing a sign from bicycle riding forbidden at all times to bicycle riding bidden at all times. Otis crossed out 4 every time he had a chance, but the rain always washed away the chalk marks. "Hello, Ellen," he said, walking along beside her in his cowboy boots. Since the holidays, Otis had worn boots instead of Oxfords. He was not wearing spurs today. Miss Joyce had asked him not to wear them to school. I think Otis was maybe he was the one who, I guess he was the one in the picture. That was Otis, who was making all the trouble, who was dancing next to her. Any case, Ellen and Austin ignored him. Otis kicked at the grass along the edge of the sidewalk. "Say, Ellen, is it true that you ride a lot? Even bareback?" "Of course it's true," said Austin. "I wish people would stop talking about it," said Ellen. "What's so wonderful about riding a horse, for goodness sake?" "Gee whiz," said Otis enviously. "Some people have all the luck." The girls continued to ignore him. He followed them for a while, kicking at the grass, and then turned down another street. When the girls came to Austin's house, they found Mrs. Allen on her knees beside a flat box of plants. She was taking them out of the box and planting them, setting them into a border along the driveway. "Hello there," she said. "Since tomorrow is Memorial Day and there isn't any school, how would you like to go on a picnic?" Ellen did not say anything. She thought Mrs. Allen meant her too, but she was not really sure. She hoped so. That was the trouble with the word "you." Sometimes it meant one person, and sometimes it meant a lot of people. Maybe Mrs. Allen was talking to Austin and not to both of them. Mrs. Allen said, "Ellen, I have already asked your mother, and she says that you may go." "Thank you, I'd love to go. Maybe a picnic would make Austin forget about horses." And if they went on a picnic, Austin couldn't come to Ellen's house to play and perhaps say something about horseback riding in front of Mrs. Tebbits. My nose is itching. Ellen was worried about what her mother would say if she found out Ellen had exaggerated. "Where are we going?" asked Austin. "We're going to drive out to Mount Hood. The rhododendrons are beginning to bloom, and I thought it would be nice to see them blooming in the woods." The next morning at 10 o'clock, Ellen ran down to Tillamook Street and around the corner to Austin's house. For her share of the picnic, she carried 8 deviled eggs carefully packed in a cardboard box. Mrs. Allen was backing out the car. Mr. Allen sat in the front seat and Austin sat in the back. "Hop in," said Mr. Allen. "Bruce isn't going with. The Boy Scouts are marching in a parade." Ellen was glad she and Austin could sit by the window. That made it easier to look for a white horse and to play the alphabet game. The first one to see a white horse got to make a wish. Ellen was going to wish Austin would forget about her horseback riding. Wait, it's getting close to the 10 minutes. The girls always played the alphabet game when they rode in the car. Each watched the signs on her side of the road for the letters of the alphabet. Each letter had to be found in order or it did not count. The K in a Sky Chief gasoline sign could not be used unless a J had already been found. The girl who had a Burma shave sign on her side of the road at the right time was lucky because it contained in the right order both U and V, 2 hard letters to find. The game went quickly at first because there were lots of signs, but as they neared the mountains, the signs became more and more scarce. Ellen was looking for a Texaco filling station for an X when Austin shouted, "Look, a white horse! I've got dibs on it." She shut her eyes to wish. Ellen was sorry she had not seen the horse first. She needed a wish. Both girls were finally down to Z. By then, the car was winding along the mountain roads. "Z!" shouted Ellen. "I win. There was a sign by the bridge, and that said Zigzag River." "That's all right," said Austin generously. "I'm going to get my wish." It was a few more miles along the highway when Austin saw the horses. "Look, Daddy, horses for rent. 50 cents an hour. Please stop," she begged. And you guys know what's going to happen next, right? Okay, I got to stop because it's 10 minutes. I'll try to record more tomorrow for you guys. Mwah, I love you. Bye-bye.